Section 5.4 discusses homeowners insurance. So what is homeowners insurance anyways? Well, according to Investopedia, homeowners insurance is a form of property insurance that covers losses and damages to an individual's residence along with the furnishings and the other assets in the home, mainly like appliances that you have in your home. Homeowners insurance also provides liability coverage against accidents in the home or on the property. So if someone were to fall and break their leg and they wanted to sue you, your homeowner's insurance policy is what would protect you. So there are many factors that would determine the cost of your insurance. The value, age, and replacement cost of your home and the contents in your home is a humongous factor. So if you live in a very expensive home and you have expensive stuff that you need to insure, you're going to need a more expensive policy, and that's going to affect the price that you pay. Your credit history and your claim history are also going to highly affect the price you pay. So if you have bad credit, they may be concerned that you won't pay your premium. If you have a history of filing a lot of claims on your homeowner's policy, then again, they're probably going to charge you more money because they anticipate that you're going to start filing claims against your insurance policy. The location and safety of your home is also a factor. If you live in a place where it's got a high crime rate, then it's going to cost you a lot more money than a place that's very safe with a low crime rate. In addition, if you install safety features on your home, then you may get a discount on your insurance. So if you have a home security system, or you have sensors on your windows if someone tried to break in, or you have a alarm system that's connected to the fire department, those are all things that are going to make your home more safe, and that would make it so your policy was a little bit cheaper. And lastly, the amount of your deductible, along with any additional policy coverage that you need, are going to also highly affect the policy amount. So if you have a high deductible, it'll be a lot lower, and if you have a low deductible, then they're going to charge you more, and if you need a lot more coverage than what the basic plan is, it's going to cost you more money. There are definitely some additional considerations to take into consideration. So whether you rent or you buy a home, you should have either homeowners insurance or tenant insurance. Homeowners insurance will cover the home, like the building itself, and the contents within the home, whereas tenant insurance will only cover the contents that you brought to the place that you are renting at. So anything that the landlord owns is not covered under your tenant insurance. Only the things that you brought into that rental property are what you are covering with your tenant insurance. I already mentioned this, but if you have a high deductible, that is going to definitely lower the annual premium cost. And what a deductible is basically it says if I file a claim with the insurance, I have to pay a certain amount up front out of that cost. And so the more money you're willing to pay out of your pocket, the lower the amount of annual premium they're going to charge you. There are also times where you may need to purchase additional coverage because the basic coverage just isn't enough to cover the things you need. So I've got two examples here. One is, let's say that you have very valuable jewelry and you may want to insure that. So for example, a lot of women have very expensive wedding rings and they may want to insure those beyond what is normal coverage. Typically it's $1,000 is what your house would cover for jewelry on a homeowner's policy, but you want to cover your wedding stuff a little bit more than that. And again, a homeowner's insurance policy would cover this jewelry. If I were out and about and someone tried to rob me and take my wedding band or my engagement ring, my homeowner's insurance policy would cover it. It doesn't have to happen just at my home. So that would be an additional coverage you might want to add to your policy if your wedding set is very expensive. Another item that you might want to have on a home insurance policy is a personal liability insurance. This would be if you were worried about someone suing you for advice, you can add this rider onto your home insurance policy, and a rider is just additional coverage that you add on more than just the basic coverage that's available. There also might be items that you can't have insurance for because that event is likely to happen. So for example, if you live in a floodplain, you may not actually be able to get flood insurance because if you're living in a floodplain, they say, well, you bought that house, you knew it was a floodplain, the likeliness of having a flood is great because you live in a floodplain, so they won't give you flood insurance. And policies are more expensive if you cover things with the exact replacement cost rather than just covering it with a standard replacement cost. So I've got an example on here of stained glass windows. My home does have stained glass windows. And for me to replace my stained glass windows is very expensive. It'd be a lot cheaper if I just replace them with regular windows that I can order from a company that are just normal windows. So for me, I decided to insure my stained glass windows for a higher value because that was important to me. All right, so let's see a couple of practice problems. It costs Andrew 65 cents per $100 for insurance on a brick house and 75 cents per $100 for insurance on a wood house. The amount of coverage is $175,000. How much is the annual premium on each house? So if he's looking at how much money he's going to spend on a wooden house versus a brick house, we can calculate out that premium. And the way that we would do that is each one of these are based on $100 worth of coverage. So first, I want to figure out how many $100 worth of coverage do I have. So I'm going to take the amount of coverage I want. I'm going to divide it by $100, and this gives me $17.50. Now that I know this is how many hundreds I have, I'm going to take that and I'm going to be able to determine my rate for my premium that I'm going to be paying. So if I have a brick house, that's going to be equal to $17.50 times 0.65, and that equals $1137.50. So that's if I have a brick house. If I have a wood house, the price is a little bit more expensive. I can take my $17.50 times 0.75, and that's going to give me a premium policy that will cost $1312.50, and both of these are in dollars. So if I want to have a brick house, it'll cost me $11,037.50. If I want to have a wood house, it's going to cost me $1312.50. The next question here says, how much more does it cost to have insurance on the wooden house versus the brick house? The wood house is more expensive than the brick house. I can find the difference of these two by taking $1312.50 minus $1137.50. So $1312.50 minus $1137.50. And when I take the difference of those two, a minus sign there, the difference is $175. So it costs $175 to insure a wooden house versus a brick house. John has tenant insurance and there was a fire in his building. His washing machine, dryer, and furnishings were all burned up in the fire. His insurance company will only cover the market value of the appliances and furniture. The replacement cost of the appliances is $1,500 if they are purchased brand new. The replacement cost of the furniture is $4,000 if purchased brand new. Everything was bought new when he moved into the apartment 3 years ago. Because the items are older, the insurance company will only cover 70% of the cost of the new appliances and furniture. John also has to replace clothing and other furnishings. The insurance company is giving him $2,000 for that. John must also pay a deductible of $500. How much money will the insurance company give John to replace his appliances, furniture, clothing, and other furnishings? So we've been given quite a bit of information here. We know that his appliances up here cost $1,500 to replace. The furniture cost $4,000 to replace. The insurance company, they're only going to cover 70% of the cost of those two items. We also know that they are giving him $2,000 for basically his clothing and other furnishings, meaning like if he had any dishes, if he had towels, whatnot. And it also says that he has a deductible of $500. So to calculate this out, I'm going to start by determining how much I'm going to get for my appliances and my furniture. So I'm going to add the amount I'll get for the appliances to the amount that I'll get for the furniture, and that's going to give me $5,500. So I'm at $1,500 for appliances, $4,000 for furniture. But the insurance company said they're only going to give me 70% of this amount. So I'm going to multiply this by 70%. And as you can see, I turned it into a decimal format. And when I multiply that out, that gives me $38.50. Once I know how much I'm going to get for my appliances and my furniture, I can add on to that the amount that I'm getting for my clothing and other furnishings. So that's going to put me at $5,850. Now, the last item I need to take into consideration is that John owes $500 for his deductible. So a lot of times the insurance company just takes that off the amount of the check that they're going to give you. So we're going to deduct it here. I'll put a plus sign here just so you can see that. And when I take that off, that means the amount of the check that the insurance company is going to give me is going to be $53.50. That's how much, I guess I should say, John is going to get to cover his costs for what happened in the fire.